me, first off. Always want to do an audio video check. We might have a little chop at some point in the connection, just due to the fact that we're going to be, potentially having or not having cell phone signal, stuff like that. But I am going to do a questions and answers at the end of this. But first, I would like to mention that I do apologize that I was not able to get a live video up for you guys on Wednesday, this past Wednesday. I was wanting to do live video Wednesday for you guys, but I'm having some issues. It could be an opportunity for employment for some of you guys. Actually, I'm looking to possibly and potentially do some help with the marketing. So if anybody is interested, I kind of do need somebody locally to the Bradenton, Florida area. But if anybody's possibly like an expert on Facebook or something out with something like that, but I do need a lot of help with marketing these days. So if you guys know anybody in Bradenton, Florida, I'm looking for some employees, part-time guys, maybe some guys to help out in the warehouse, and definitely some marketing people, photography, videography, stuff like that. So that's an opportunity for you guys. I do apologize that I was not able to be doing as much of these live videos as I would like to do. Like I said, I'd like to do more. It's just, it can be difficult necessarily to get them up as often as I'd like to. It can just be, it's very time consuming. So I wanted to mention that I am catching in. I'm going to do some questions and answers here in a minute. You guys know I will. I wanted to mention I just came from church, had a great service today. The pastor was talking about the state of pandemia of fear, so much fear that's going around the U.S. right now. Everybody's using scare tactics and the whole thing with the pandemic and the coronavirus, and just so much craziness going around, and really people spreading fear. And I really enjoyed the church service today that was about that we could all take a little bit of faith and take a little bit of that burden off of our shoulders, knowing that the end game is already, for those of us that are Christians, we know that the end is already decided. So we don't have to worry about being so nervous about stuff like that. I will start to get into the questions and answers here, though. Again, anybody interested in doing any kind of marketing work with me, shoot me an email, greg@bonesactual.com. And anybody that could possibly be around the Bradenton, Sarasota, Florida area as well, we could. I have various work opportunities around that area, and then remote marketing stuff. So photographers, videographers, what else? Import, export, helping out in the warehouse, stuff like that. So I'll get into some questions and answers here, guys. Go ahead and start asking your questions. Looks like there's already a bunch of them in here. And make sure that I stay in the channel here. We're in some backwater, and there's some shallow areas. If you don't pay attention, you can bottom out in the boat real quick. How cool would that be to bottom out the boat on live video? I don't think I'll do that today. Hopefully not, anyway. Let's see. We've got a bunch of people checking in from all over. Steven Seagal's checking in. How you doing, bud? Stacks is checking in. We've got some guys from over in the Eastern Europe checking in, some friends from over there, Slovakia. We got people checking in from Michigan, people checking in from all over, saying that they're glad that they could catch me being live. I'm glad you guys were able to tune into me being live too. Jason J asks about the ammo ban. With the ammo ban or not ban, would you, excuse me, I just talked about getting in a shallow spot and I wasn't paying attention. Here we go. With ammo ban or not, would you recommend learning to reload ammo? It depends where you're at. If it's legal for you, I would recommend it. Sure, why not? It's expensive to get into if you can afford it and if it's legal, go ahead. There's some areas where reloading ammo is not legal. It's not worth it if it's in those areas. And then, you really have to. The next thing is that you really got to get set up good, because if you can't afford to invest in a lot of money in the tools and equipment and raw materials that you'll need right away to get it done and to do it right, because good reloading equipment is expensive, then it's not worth it. There's no reason for you to attempt to do that if you can't afford the good stuff. So stay away from it unless you can afford the good stuff. That's my advice. Let's see here. We've got Steven Seagal said that he's in Europe right now and it's only 7 p.m. Okay, that's cool. Have I seen Siege D's asking if I've seen Snake Eater Tactical's new plate carrier? Man, I need to hit up Chris. I have not. I've been actually pretty busy recently. I haven't been really looking at anything online, not much anyway. So we've got what's the best way to store gasoline for as long as possible? That's a good question, Luke. Storing gasoline for more than 6 months is definitely something that you don't want to do, because it can cause, and especially depending on what country you're in, a lot of countries add water or additives to the gasoline that will hurt your motor already to begin with, and if you let it sit longer, it'll separate and cause all kinds of problems. Even in the US, you definitely don't want to allow your gasoline to sit unless you add some additives. There are fuel stabilizer additives that you can add. Stabil's one of them that can allow the gasoline to last for up to about maybe even 2 years, depending on the type that you get. So definitely add some stabilizer, fuel stabilizer, so that your gasoline can be so that you can, you can add with your gasoline lasting longer. Let's see what else we got here. Tune in with your questions, guys. Tune in with your questions. I will do some questions and answers here until I have to get up on a plane and get out into the open water, and then I'm gonna have to sign off, because you guys wouldn't be able to hear me anyway, and I'd have to do a lot more paying attention. There's gonna be a lot of boaters out today, and I don't want to really do anything too crazy on live video. I got to pay attention to what I'm doing here in a little while. Saludos desde Honduras. Necesita apoyo en mercadotecnia y fotografía aquí en Honduras. Ahorita no, realmente no ocupa. Tengo un buen equipo ahí en Honduras ahorita. Pero muchas gracias a Aguirre y saludos. Respect from Brooklyn. I had a guy ask me about what I need down in Honduras. I've actually got a really good team in Honduras. Great team. We're getting a lot of work done down there, doing some really good big things, a lot of help for the community. So I'm here now trying to get everything set up in the States. I'm always fixing problems where the problems are the worst, and right now the States it's rough. It's hard to find good people. It's hard to find good employees. I'm trying to get some good people on team here, and it's just tough. It's tough times here in the States. So we're doing what we can. We'll get it done, and we'll find a way. If I have to do it myself, I'll do it myself. So that's what we got going. Good afternoon from Chicago. How you doing, guys? A lot of guys checking in from all over Alaska. A lot of guys checking in, saying how you doing. The People's Rooster just picked up the cedar ashtray. Man, I forgot to bring the cedar ashtray. I wanted to bring it here on the boat with me today, one of them. But I've only got 5 of them left, man. And I'm like, I have one for myself, but I don't know if I want to bring it on the boat. They're just so nice, And they're difficult to make. They take a long time. We make them by hand, And, I sit there with chisels and sandpaper, and just, it's rough. So, yeah, they're beautiful. Check out if you like cigars, check out the handmade ashtray that I got on my website, bombtactical.com. It's pretty cool. They're expensive, but very, very nice. Okay, we've got guys checking in from Belize, California, Miami. So, in my opinion, Jason J is asking what's better, brass or steel shells, and he's referring to casings of ammunition, and that's a very good question. So in most firearms were designed for brass casings, because brass, when it gets hot, when the round goes off, that brass will expand a little bit to seal in and fit the chamber, okay, of the firearm. So as that firearm's functioning, if you're using brass, most firearms, unless they're what we would consider to be like Eastern Bloc firearms, are gonna be designed for brass. So I would not recommend shooting steel through Belgian or American or especially like any kind of precision weapons. I would not recommend shooting AR-15s, precision rifles. I would not, anything with tight tolerances, I would not recommend putting steel through. You also have to realize that steel is much harder than brass, okay? So brass is not going to damage going in and out and in and out and in and out. Brass is not going to damage your weapon. But if you have steel going in and out, cycling, right, your weapon, then it's a lot more likely to cause much more rapid wear and tear. The only weapons that I would recommend are Eastern Bloc firearms. So AKs, man, AKs, any variant of an AK, and there's so many variants. You guys list some variants if you want here in the comments, but there's so many AK variants. Anything from Russia, Bulgaria, anything follow the Soviet Union country, anything Soviet Union produced, all that stuff is going to be great, and it's going to eat steel, and it's going to really just do very well with that ammo. And it's cheap ammo, and it's great. And the Russians had, they figured out a way to make effective, not great weapons, but effective weapons for very cheap, and just stamp them out and bust them out. And they did the same thing with ammo, and it worked great. So that works. I would say definitely stay away from any inexpensive guns. I guess I would say stay away from using steel. I only use steel in AKs, and then once you get into steel ammo, or really once you get into especially Yugoslavian ammo, which may or may not be steel, but for example, they a lot of those guys are also using corrosive primers. So you got to really clean your guns. Don't I see people using overseas, especially in Latin America or the Middle East. I'll see people using Yugoslavian ammo in AKs, and then just kind of like just letting them sit and not cleaning them, and it'll really quickly really do a lot of damage to those firearms. It'll speed up the rust and corrosion process, and it'll really hurt the gun. So that was probably went way too much into detail on that, but I will give my opinion on a lot of these statements. We've got guys checking in still from all over. San Antonio, Texas. We've got all kinds of people checking in here. Northern Idaho. Neurosmos, I don't know how they say that. He's talking about the shirt. He said he just bought one of these Aloha shirts and the NPE Ghost Knife. Funny that you mention the NPE Ghost Knife, because I happen to have mine on me too. I guess you guys may or may not have seen that in the title there, but in the cover photo. But yes. All right, guys, let's get these questions rolling in. I will answer questions, as many as I can get to. Have I had my hands on any 3D printed firearms? Actually, no, I haven't. I haven't personally seen or had any experience personally. I've seen, like maybe some pictures or whatever, stuff like that, but I have not seen any 3D printed firearms, unfortunately. So I can't really talk too much into that. Some of these guys are talking about how they have particular guns that don't like steel. There's a lot of guns that don't like steel. 1911s are a great example of a firearm that doesn't like steel rounds in a lot of cases. 1911s really can be finicky, depending. They can be great guns if they're, I think they should be hand-fitted personally, but that's a matter of opinion. They're definitely no Glock, right? They're old technology in comparison. A lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff that needs to be fitted very well. So I'm still looking at all of these comments. There's so many comments. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in on this. So Jason's saying that he can find out there is steel casing for my AR-10 308. Oh man, I would definitely not recommend running steel casings through an AR-10. That is exactly what I'm talking about not doing. Don't do it. I would only run, like if you've got a really nice AR-10, I wouldn't run anything through there that's not either mil spec, mil surplus, like 7.62 ammo, or either that, or probably I would do maybe like, I don't know, probably federal, what's it called? Federal has a high end, federal premium match or something like that. Anyway, but that's the only real ammo that you can get that's good ammo that you can buy over the shelf. Federal match grade, I think it's called. Somebody comment below. Federal makes a good ammo line. Other than that, if you're talking precision weapons, you pretty much have to hand load yourself. Mr. Langdog said that his AR-10 was the hardest build because they're not standardized. That's yeah, I mean, yes and no. I think that it's definitely not like Legos as much as an AR-15 is, but I feel like still if you get parts that are meant to go with each other, it's not a whole lot of work as much as it would be actually having to, turn things on a lathe and fit them, as far as what we would be talking about if we're talking about actually building a gun rather than just assembling a gun. So Siege D said he wears his NPE Ghost knife, which is a non-permissive environment special knife, okay? We're in a high salt content. We're out in the salt water right now, so this is a non-permissive environment for a lot of blades. So we have titanium on the boat. We have ceramic on the boat. This is ceramic. It can pass through metal detectors. It's untraceable, undetectable, all that kind of stuff. Siege D said that he wears his while he cleans an Olympic-sized pool and does laps. It doesn't rust, and the weight is perfect. Yeah, I love mine. I wear mine if I'm on the boat, man. That's my go-to for sure, the MPE Ghost. Alaska's talking about, there's a lot of stuff in Alaska that is very expensive right now. Prices going up, stuff like that. Let's see. Federal ammo is some of the best over-the-counter brass I put through my rifles and Glock. Yeah, Federal makes, I forget, Federal Premium, Federal Match, Federal something. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's, I don't buy ammo anymore. You guys are aware of that. I don't buy ammo in the States, so when I get my stuff, I'm overseas, and it's almost always just military surplus ammo. So it's been so long since I've got into it's occasionally that, something's exported on a government contract from the U.S., and then I'll pick it up like that. But most of the ammo I get is old school, so I don't get into all the new, really new stuff that's coming out. But I just remember Federal having a premium line that's amazing. As far as like, it's the best that you can get until you start buying hand-loaded or custom loads. Federal Match Grade, I believe, is what it's called. What's the economy like in Honduras, Central America right now? It seems to be a storm on the horizon for everyone. Yeah, it's really tough. My guys are pretty happy down there that they've got steady work and that, I pay very well as far as like for the local, much more than minimum wage and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a third world country. There's people there with money, but it's very hard for a lot of people. A lot of people are starving and dying since the, not joking, not, just really starving and dying since the hurricanes went through. I mean, it wiped out all infrastructure in a country where there was almost no infrastructure to begin with. So you're talking about literally starving and not being able to, you could be injured and no way you get to a hospital. It was bad there for a while. We did a lot of work down there trying to help people out. I'm not down there anymore, but what we did some stuff, but it just wasn't enough. They still need help. There's a lot of places in the world where people need help. So if you guys feel like helping people, there's ways to do it. We're constantly helping people down there. I've got outreach programs that we're running, and constantly every Saturday we've got 150 kids that we pull together, and we give supplies to their they don't have families, they're orphans, but they have like caretakers, and we've set them up with, we're basically keeping them fed and trying to educate them, young children. 150 kids in the Santa Barbara area of Honduras. So but yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people out there that are trying to do help. If you guys have the time, you can volunteer. If you don't have the time, you can send money, buy something from my website and I'll do the work. So we'll do it, man. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough times in a lot of places in the world for sure. Ja Heiss said that 40 puts a bigger hole, but 9mm can put rounds on target quicker. Yeah, I really don't like 40 caliber. It's very snappy. It's a little bit bigger hole, like you said, but I don't like it at all. It doesn't. The recoil management is much harder for very little benefit. I think the 10mm was the way to go, and then when they cut it in half, they screwed up a really good round. But if you can get 10mm out of a good functioning firearm, then you're good. But no, 40, not a 40 fan. Use what I got to use, but I think it was a dumb idea to cut the 10mm in half. Jiraj is talking about Afghanistan and how there's people over there that need help as well, and yeah, I mean, there's people everywhere that need help. There really is. Supra Skater is asking that if he can get a job with overseas security contracting without military or law enforcement experience. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't. You just have to really, it's like anything else. You gotta, experience is what people look for first of all. I don't think law enforcement will help you in any way with security contracting, in my opinion. Military experience can, if you want to do the same thing contracting that you did while you were in the military, or some similar things, because there's lots of military jobs that don't help you with contracting. But it's all about experience, and then it's about, like anything else, work hard, be a good, it's it's like any job. You got to be better than the next guy. Want it more. So there's a lot of people talking about their dream pistols, the FN57, stuff like that. I think a lot of that stuff's gimmicky in my opinion. We're talking about, Jiraj mentioned that you guys should watch the Gray Man Theory videos. Can you tell us anything about the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA? Nope, I have no knowledge of the NGA. 70,000 white South Africans have been murdered in the last decade. Help there. Survivor is asking. Yeah, I've actually gotten a lot of emails over the last few years from South African farmers, white South African farmers, asking for help down there, and I would love to go help. I just, I've got to make a living, and the reason that I turned them down was because, unfortunately, I can't just take up a cause, go to war in a situation that I don't know I don't know the full. I don't know what's going on really. I just know what some people tell me, and if you ask I guess they would be African. If you ask the, black Africans, then they'll tell you, this. And if you ask the white Africans, they'll tell you this. But they're definitely having some race issues, and there's war, and I think it's kind of it's a sad situation. It's very sad. And I wish I could help. I just don't know what to do or how to do it or how to go about it, and I have had some job offers over there, but I do take caution in getting involved in race wars. Okay, just to completely just be honest with you, there's mercenaries that'll do anything for money, and I'm not one of those guys. I don't really I would not involve myself in a race war just to get involved in a race war or just for money. So just mentioning that. But yeah, they do need help down there. And I'm not saying who needs help, but humanity needs help down there for sure. I'm not saying who needs help because I don't know which side is right or wrong. I'm sure that both are right in some ways and both are wrong in some ways, like pretty much always. But it's very rough. Pray for South Africa, guys. So some people are asking about South Africa, asking what's going on. It's just I guess it was what, 1996, 97 when they ended apartheid, and it's just been a real, it kind of like the pendulum swung the other way, and there was a lot of there was originally a lot of racism. Well, there's always been racism, but there was, I guess, Caucasians, white Africans were in power, and then the pendulum swung and black Africans took power in a lot of areas, and then it became like mob related to a certain extent, where black Africans would go to the extent of pulling, you know, white Africans off of their farms and trying to take the land back. And there was a lot of, you know, the same way that in any race, one race does bad things to another. Well, now it's just kind of went from one end of the spectrum to the other, or has been since the early 90s, mid 90s was a lot of atrocities on black Africans, and it's switched, I guess, apparently over in the last decade to a lot of atrocities against white Africans. But I really do think that you guys should look into it yourselves and kind of check it out and see what you think, and see, you know, just know what's going on in the world around you, you know, at least. So let's see, we've got you know, Haiti's just a classic third world country that's just rough. I mean, Haiti's not a whole lot different from some of the other countries I operate in, like Honduras. It's just the problems that they have in countries like that are just third world country problems. I mean, there's just the government in Haiti has really been, since I've known about it, and since I've been involved with international clandestine operations, the government of Haiti has been not even a respected government internationally. It's been, you know, a ploy. It's not been, who's really in power, who knows. It's just classic third world country problems. So I'm probably going to tune out here in a minute, guys. We're about to hit 30 minutes, and got some guys checking in from the Middle East, Jerusalem, Africa, all over. I really do appreciate you guys checking this stuff out. I am getting here into a channel, and there's going to be a lot of boats up here, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for watching. Please comment below. Let me know you guys' thoughts, first of all, on what I should do about the marketing situation. If you guys have any ideas about, I'd like to run some Facebook ad campaigns and stuff like that. Just try and get the take it to the next level with marketing. So if you guys have some suggestions, or if you know anybody, shoot me an email, greg@bonetactical.com. Comment below. And if you guys know anybody in Bradenton, Florida that might be looking for work, we've got work in the States. Nothing security or anything like that, just strictly warehouse jobs and marketing stuff, photography, videography, stuff like that. So definitely let me know, but comment below and let me know if you like these live videos, and if you want to see more of them, please, because that's the only, you know, I really got to get a lot of engagement to be able to keep these videos coming. It does take work. It takes setup time. It's not really necessarily very easy to do this. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for watching. Bone out. Let me give you I know you guys want to see what we got going on here, so I'll do this. Probably isn't the smartest idea, but do a real quick pan over for you what we got going on. So before I crash the boat, thanks for watching. Bone out.